I help you in life. No, but like I was saying, for me personally, I don't feel the attachment with that kind of music. You don't feel connected with the work. I can very much be that artist, very much. Just pen a few things, talk it, bam, bring it out. But there is a deep connection with the work where you play this keyboard. If I could, I'll play all the instruments in the world because I'm always that person that's like, let,
Mm-hmm.
let me do it all. But honestly, eh, I have to humble myself small and say, Didi, there are other people for a reason. See beyond just you working it all. I'm learning mixing and mastering now and all that kind of stuff. Invested in MIDI keyboard, got this. There's been God's grace in many things, in terms of people sending this, that, and the other. But like, not even in terms of funds, but in terms of like software. But then at least to start. But
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be connected with my piece. So I'm saying, so when I intentionally took this summer, I said, you know what? I just want to focus on my authoring and my music. And to be honest, it is somebody's full-time career. Some people are just doing music. Jay-Z is a billionaire. Only music. Of course, you can get big, but it's whatever will get you the first capital before you want to expand any other thing. But this is his core thing. The long and short of what I mean is, this is something I believe in. But of course, you always have LinkedIn people that have intent that slaughter me, Linklaters, Field Fisher. They're not stacking up. I know mates that are on placement now, doing different things. And people just be asking me. So that's where the temptation is. That's where the thing is now. Okay. Did he opens his LinkedIn again and he will start applying in the name of a pressure. Because you see, with the path I'm taking, you don't see the returns immediately. You don't see it just coming out of nowhere. No, like you have to build your way up, like building your own brand versus working for a brand. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a very, very interesting path. It takes faith, it takes confidence that I will make this in the end. It's not my first time framing a world in terms of birthing a vision. Only Believe was a vision. TTM is a vision. You start something, it starts with the one or two people, and you keep talking every week, keep praying every week, strengthening, educating, helping, pushing forward till it becomes a thing. It becomes a statement. It's now a living thing. TTM is a living thing, So it's not my first time just taking this, what you call entrepreneurial route, risk taking, where there's no immediate return, but you're trying to pave out a future that makes sense, that will add up. But there's pressure. I'm telling you, there's pressure. Imagine your mates stacking up their CVs looking fat. Yours is still wherever, and it's not even looking like you're about to add to that CV. It's not looking like you because you're not going to work at any other thing. And no, you're saying I'm about to pave a world where I'll be employing people. I will be this. Just my YouTube alone, there are people that are doing they did just YouTube. Look at Nia series. Did YouTube, inspired people, passed their exams, everything, blah, 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 part of the journey, eventually doing women's conferences, talking at different unis, doing it. Daniel Colenda, she's a big woman now, and I know she's not broke. Like, you understand, like she's moving.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, but it's a path to take, and you're your own only supporter and only confidence. You know, and what you find with this route, of course, there's a lot of people supporting me and rooting for me, but um, with this route, it's like would I say tomorrow is not assured? It's like you make that tomorrow. You literally make you. It's not like a job where, yeah, my salary comes at this point. This is no. I can decide to be working on something now that's going to come out now and it will be celebrated like this. And I'm going to push ads for it, or I'm going to market this way. I'm going to, like, I have to become more. People are seeing the quality of my posts. Like, I'm framing a world. I'm doing something. There's something I'm working on. And it's, yeah, like I said, you make that tomorrow. It's a different way to go about life. Very, very different way. See, so now you're just holding on yourself, holding on, because the temptation to just say, oh, let me apply, take my time. This is this. My flatmate, you see, practicing guitar, right? Some of his mates, these are work hours right now. This is 2:57 p.m. He will not get to practice this thing till 5. I was talking to somebody in my dad's office. It's like, nah, he's even paid for courses. He has not attended any of them. He's a lawyer. Like my dad's like kind of right-hand person in terms of going to court and everything. It's like, nah, it's baptizing. Like there's no time. It's just sun up, sun down. You're about this thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm at the point where you kind of have to make a choice. Where am I going? How am I going? It's a lot of pressure.
Talk about it.
Your only confidence, like just like I said, you're framing literally. You make tomorrow. If it's exciting, it's if
yeah,
exciting route, but people have done it. Sometimes when I think about it, Tony Robbins is a billionaire from talking. That's why I read all these little articles on these people from talking, inspiring people. People should stop talking against motivators and stuff, because I think that motivation you have naturally, you'd be surprised how many people don't have it naturally and need it to get them to the next level. I see a lot of people they will be dissing that, oh, people are using courses to make people pay for stuff. But a course is education, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, the exact same thing. You're actually imparting value. A billionaire. Like he's needed in the ecosystem. His words. How many firms did he work in? How much education did Arnold Schwarzenegger have? People kick against acting now, but like that's literally what he did. From there, I don't even know how he even got into this whole German reigns of power and stuff. I don't even know how he really did it. Though I saw some very interesting things like reading and stuff, but now it's like people say, oh, I want to contest with Arnold Schwarzenegger. What I found out, and here's one thing I believe. I believe we make life what it is, and you make a career what it is. Somebody is talking, and he sees his voice to be so powerful enough. He makes it like motivational speaking is needed, or daily help and coaching is needed. Some people are just coaches. That's all they are. The same push-ups, for example, that somebody's doing, and it's just like, yeah, this is just a little exercise. Somebody has built a life on push-up techniques and is teaching people how to do his famous push-ups. And they're paying him for it. This banging body from working out. That's all they are, a personal trainer. They think wider, own their own gym, do some research, maybe get a physiotherapy, I don't know, little course degree, whatnot. Like I want you to see that that's what makes a coach, a person that's fit or whatnot, but doesn't do anything, has no money, and it's like, why are you wasting your life? Become an engineer or something. And somebody that says, you know what, I'm not doing anything else in my life. This is what I love to do. Yeah, they made a whole world. They made it look like the most important thing. We can diss music all we want. A lot of people controlling the money. I'm surprised. Musicians, another thing, every educated person, all of us will go to school, blah, 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 blah. Tomorrow, if one musician, one place is happening, you will congregate, you educated minds, to come and watch a person do a craft that you dissed them about before. Let's see where I am, in my head with a lot of this stuff. It's a lot. And I wish I could, tell people, it's one thing to sound assured, but one thing I make sure to do as a preacher or as a person, of influence as well, is look, and it's sometimes the beauty of this humanity kind of teaching is, I can teach you that the voice of God tells you to be sure about what you're doing, the path you're going, and all of that kind of stuff. But sometimes, even this thing about, oh yeah, God, tell me my purpose. Not every person that is somewhere reasonable now can tell you they got there because God said. God said they should do this, and one, it was it. Not the phenomenon I find in the world is that people will hustle their way to the top. When they make it to the top, all of a sudden they'll tell you that they had 10 steps. When they were trying to find their way, they knew nothing about where they were going. They were just like this, making things work. Eventually, bam, they found themselves at the top of that thing. All of a sudden, there's 10-step formula. All of a sudden, there's this and this and this and this and this. And there's nothing wrong with it. But what I'm saying is that we're not always sure about life. And sometimes as speakers or preachers, we tend to sound more certain about life than we really are. I lead a fellowship. Some people are surprised. How do you get your next sermon? How do you get this? I can tell you, I don't Google the internet or look for sermons, this, that, and the other. But one thing for sure is when you're reading the Bible, when you're praying, like you just will be moving ahead. You will just be moving. You don't necessarily know how the next sermon is going to come about. It could just be an occurrence in life. Not every sermon came from because you're on the mountain for 40 days and you heard a specific word. But sometimes we have a way in that our perfectionist and high performance, high profile thing. There's so many worlds that I can attack with this thing I've said now, like different things, even getting some deep thought teachings, like Jesus talking about the keys of knowledge and stuff and how people hide it. And I just know I'm a special person. I know I'm a special person. I know that God has endowed me with several ability. All that I need to do is believe and take it one day at a time with the spirit I feel within me. There's this poem of the spirit I once wrote. I'm trying to remember all the lines, but I know I have it in my new book. The Communication of Your Faith is now, but I know I have it at the end of my new book. And it says, it's something like, faith says your weakest time is your strongest time. Faith says your poorest time is your richest time. Faith says the time where you are most at the bottom is like when you're at the top. Faith says, stuff like that. Your smallest hour is your most powerful hour or biggest hour. And it now says, fear says the opposite, something like that. But the only real fear is your faith. It's such a deep one when literally because I paraphrased it now. But do you know how big that is to think? Your only fear is your faith. Your only real fear is your faith. The thing you're actually afraid of is your faith.
That's true. Hmm.
is huge.
That's true. It's like that's it's like that's would I say quote or um it's not a poem. Um yeah, something our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Mm,
So you're scared of what you can believe in, what you can do when you believe it, when you believe it rather. Yeah. I think is by I'm not sure who. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
literally, literally. It's just a lot. I know I will make, quote unquote, I will make it in the end and stuff. My Even before I left where I was before, the one thing I even told my mother on the phone was, I believe everything that's happening here. I believe it all. But one thing I don't want is to discount myself from the promise of God or the future God has for me because of fear, because of a lack of confidence. We have a way when we're in a job, when we're in something, to feel secure, to feel
Mhm.
everything. So the thought of starting your own thing, the thought of, it's like, this is more likely the wrong move, and the Spirit of God doesn't want it, and your spirit will never witness yes. And maybe it's because of how the kind of things I've had to fight through, mental battles, and right in front of you, physical battles I've had to fight through, that I'm so like, do you know what? If you want to do something, just do it. I don't even know what this thing about timing is, because I'm like, if you keep waiting for these things to line up, I've had to face a life where I make things happen so much that I
Mhm.
all me. That's the, whether complex or whatnot. So it's just like, we make it what it is. And to be honest, to me, it's proven. Everything we enjoy is created. Somebody is actually the one creating and forcing the digits. And if you look at how God made us in his image and likeness, God created the earth as he wanted it to be. Framed, he wasn't also depending on himself to, well, he was dependent on himself, right? It wasn't just visible thing to just make, he was the invisible thing, to make it happen. He gives us spirit, gives us his spirit. Do we think it will be any less? We the exact same thing to frame the world, but
Thank you. It's honestly just fear that withholds because because like you say, that uncertainty, that security that people meet with, or insecurity rather, that reason that they would rather stay on a charted path is fear. Nobody really wants to miss it. No, but everybody wants to do well. Some people want to do just well enough. Some people want to do exceedingly well, but everybody wants to do a certain degree of well at some point in their lives. And that's the difference between the person who can risk to do better and the person who would rather just camp where there's safety.
mm,
To me, it's just that rule, that grip fear has over people. Because you've given that example of, you know, seeing your mates out there and then the pressure that comes it's it just it makes you question a lot of things, and the moment the thing that seems like a very comfortable opportunity comes, you grab it and you sit there. You hold on to it. You don't want to leap, you don't want to walk, you don't want to run. You're just fine. So long as every day can be quote unquote assured.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's why some of these things are really important because many people will never confront it. Many people will never confront it. I, for one, I'm very grateful for the kind of friends I have. You're very much a realist. So talking to you always does that to me. I tend to want to be safe most of the time. Like my mind can travel far and wide, but just not me.
Mm.
So I can have the ideas, I can sell them, I can speak them, but I'm not very keen on doing them.
Mm.
But here's something like this, and you know that even where you are staying is not quite assured. It's just that false sense of security that
Yeah.
you're desperately holding on to that eventually will fail because whether you like it or not, things are changing and will change. There are people who are making these things, the people who are doing the work that you don't want to do, who are taking those risks, will eventually write a story that you would have to act.
Mm.
And one day, your security will be vain again, and
Mm.
you find yourself on that hamster wheel that you never wanted to run on. It's
Yes, right.
crazy.
It is. There's so many ways like to talk about it. In terms of things like fulfillment,
Mm-hmm. Fulfillment, passion, even
all of that.
passion. Many people have discredited it, or you don't do what you love, you do what pays you. Some people are being paid, but
Mm.
they cannot wait for the end.
Mm.
And and it's very terrible because if you think about spending your life doing something that pays you, it seems very wise until you're actually there and you can't smile and you can't feel yourself. It's just sad.
The typical path, the custom tradition, you know, is contesting that. For me, it's just a lot of like, it's a lot of pressure, social pressure. What this person say, what they think. You know, like having jobs with dignity or having,
Mm-hmm.
for me, there are confines, there are limits, and morality helps to do that. You know, like you're not saying do some crazy job, but when it's not the typical, it's like all these people that press for a YouTuber dream, just making YouTube videos and getting paid versus being known as a doctor or a lawyer. It's a long world, but we'll make it. We'll make it. On the studio stuff, I know the grace of God is there. Thank you so much for the way you're helping. I don't even know if I'll end this thing now. And I don't even plan to edit these. I don't plan to edit them at all. I'm just going to put them up. Yeah. And I'm even starting like a new channel. I call it like Etiaba IRL in real life. And that's where I would have all these kind of things because it's more calm space. Because as a person, I'm really not, I can appear very hard up and scrunch and like, but like those who know me, I could care less. I could be less bothered, honestly. Be so official and this because I've always said spirituality to me is not in the seriousness or the firmness of the face. It's more an attitude that sometimes is not even shown outwardly. It's just something you have on the inside. And some people can't manage that difference. So it's better that they stay on the serious side before they miss God, you know. So, but yeah, I think I will shop this one here.